NHL Trade Trees. They're massive, mind-bogglingly confusing, and they have ripple effects that affect the history of the league. Now, it's all great for NHL nerds like me who love to sit down and dissect these and debate about them. But for a normal person like you, you're probably wondering, Landon, what even is a trade tree? This sounds ridiculous. And while it may sound ridiculous, in practice, it works almost exactly like a family tree. You have the original parents, or quote-unquote family, being the original trade that happens. And these trades almost always happen with a star player. And in the NHL, we call this a quote-unquote blockbuster trade. Now, with trees, you have branches, and that's where the NHL is unique. The NHL has a lot of turnover and often a lot of activity at their trade deadlines and free agency. Players move around and go up and down or retire out of the league completely a lot. This means that the trade trees are everlasting and very, 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 very long. There's a trade tree dating back to the 80s that is still going on to this day. Now, how do NHL trade trees compare to other major sports trade trees? As I'm not as much of a nerd in other major sports as I am in the NHL, I'm not too sure on other trade trees. As I Googled it in the NFL, it doesn't even pop up. I didn't see a single result in Google, in the first page at least, that had anything to do with trade trees. All it was free agency and trade rumors for this year. And on YouTube, there's one video. And it's a very impressive trade tree, actually. Very nice trade tree. 63 transactions. Wow. Very good. But that's about it. It's a similar thing in the NBA, where trade trees aren't really mentioned when I Google it. It's kind of strange how this works. In the MLB, though, is the only real competitor with the NHL. And I'm not very shocked, because baseball guys sure do love their stats. I mean, what is WAR? How like half these stats don't even make any sense. So it adds up that they would have this similar amount of results for trade trees, but the NHL is on a different level. Yeah, we love our trade trees over here, but there's a good reason for it. These trade trees are extensive, and the pieces that are dealt have giant waves that ripple through the history of the NHL, and they forge and destroy legacies, organizations, and sometimes even players. The Jeff Petry Trade Tree. Now, while it's unknown to many and almost recently discovered, this trade tree may be the largest trade tree ever in the NHL. This Jeff Petry trade tree has 10 branches, is what I kind of showed you earlier.
Oh, that's a lot of damage!
While the original trade is not blockbuster, major blockbuster, it was still a big trade. Jeff Petry was traded from Edmonton Oilers to the Montreal Canadiens for a second-round pick and a fifth-round pick. And the reason why this trade gets so big is because Jeff Petry gets traded, and these two picks are used in many more trades that are linked in more trades that are linked in more trades. And I think you guys get the snowball effect that occurs from this. It is absolutely incomprehensible how many people's lives were changed because of this one single trade. Let's just put it that way. Some of the notable branches of this tree include the Phil Kessel trade tree, the Chris Pronger trade tree, the Kevin Shattenkirk trade tree, the Rick Nash trade tree, and the Mikko Rantanen trade tree. All from one trade. The Wayne Gretzky trade tree. Now, this is the most famous trade of all time in NHL history. Nothing comes close to this. This is when prime Wayne Gretzky, after he just got done winning 4 Stanley Cups for the Edmonton Oilers, was traded alongside Marty McSorley and Mike Krushenlinski to the LA Kings in return for Jimmy Carson, Martin Gelinas, and 3 first-round picks, alongside $15 million in cash. And this is in 1988. Now, we just talked about how many branches can occur from one trade, but there was a bunch of branches that happened because of this. First was Jimmy Carson. He was hyped up as the next Wayne Gretzky. This guy was tearing the league up at only 18 years old, and in his first season with the Oilers, he did really well, recording 100 points and helping the Oilers to win a Stanley Cup. So the first year that Edmonton gets rid of the greatest player of all time, they win. Just 2 years after that, Jimmy requests to be traded from the Oilers and is traded to the Detroit Red Wings. And then we all know the snowballing effect that happens after this. Yes, the Wayne Gretzky trade tree is alive and well to this day. Now, for the other branches of this tree, the $15 million was used for a lot of different things. For the LA Kings side, they got Wayne Gretzky for 700 games, and he scored 920 points for them. And while they did not win a Stanley Cup, they did make it to the 1993 final, but unfortunately lost. And then in 96, LA trades Gretzky to the St. Louis Blues. Now, this trade and the tree that follows shows just how NHL player management changed with this one trade. Nobody is safe. Even Gretzky got traded, and anyone can be traded in these massive blockbuster trades that have crazy effects on the history of people's legacies and organizations. People will always wonder now, what if Gretzky stayed in Edmonton? They won a cup even after he was gone, so could have Wayne Gretzky have won 6, maybe even 8 Stanley Cups if he stayed in Edmonton? This is the things that hockey nerds like me love to speculate about, and it's what these trees let us do. The Eric Lindros trade tree. And now this trade tree is my favorite one, but I'm a little biased because this trade helped the Colorado Avalanche win their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. It all begins with the original trade between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Quebec Nordiques. Now you're thinking, what, Landon? I thought this helped Colorado win. Before the Colorado Avalanche were even a team, they were the Quebec Nordiques. And in this trade, Quebec Nordiques had drafted Eric Lindros #1 overall, but Eric Lindros did not want to play for the team due to management issues as well as the French-speaking environment around the entire city, and then Quebec was pretty much forced to trade him, and then he went into arbitration. For those of you who don't know what arbitration is, it's kind of summed up like this. And the arbitrators chose that the Philadelphia Flyers package was to be sent to the Quebec Nordiques, which included Steve Duchesne, Peter Forsberg, Ron Hextall, Kerry Huffman, Mike Ricci, Chris Simon, a 1993 first-round pick and a 1994 first-round pick, alongside $15 million in cash. So this was widely known as the largest trade in the history of the NHL. This one and the Wayne Gretzky trade are pretty much tied. Now, that sounds like a lot for a player that's never played a game in the NHL, but Eric Lindros had an immediate dominating impact with the Flyers. He also won the Hart Trophy, the MVP, in 1995. The Philadelphia Flyers would never see the promised land or win a cup with Eric Lindros, and his career would fall short due to injuries, mainly concussions. For the Quebec Nordiques, while they lost in Eric Lindros, they also gained 3 Hall of Famers in this trade. The first one being Peter Forsberg. He is one of the greatest Avalanche players of all time and was a key piece in helping them win 2 Stanley Cups in the 96 and 2001 seasons. The 1993 first-round pick is the pick we're going to focus on, as that pick was used to select goalie Jocelyn Thibault. He's a good goalie, but he had an .897 save percentage and a .296 goals against average, which is honestly very mediocre. So the Avalanche recognized this and used it in a package that acquired a Hall of Fame goaltender, Patrick Waugh. Now, to add on to the lore of this tree, the only reason Montreal was trading Patrick Waugh is because he was forcing them to. Now, there are a couple more branches alongside with a very, very weak connection to acquiring Ray Bourque for the 2001 season and allowing him to lift the Stanley Cup after 22 years. This trade tree shows how one major blockbuster trade can affect the paths of two organizations. The Quebec Nordiques, they were selling the team, and then all of a sudden, they have 3 Hall of Fame players from this one trade, and they lift the Stanley Cup twice and move into a great market. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Flyers lose out on at least one Hall of Fame player and are cut short with another potential Hall of Fame player in Eric Lindros. Now, trade trees. They're just a giant family tree for us NHL nerds to examine and to look at to see what could have been or what could be if 2 players got traded to different teams. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.